In this video lecture, we will discuss about the pedogenesis. What does the word pedo means? Here, the word pedo means the soil. Word pedo means the soil, and genesis means the formation. So, in this lecture, we will discuss about the soil formation, or in the other words, we can say pedogenesis. First of all, we will discuss about the introduction to the soil. What is the soil? Soil is the material found on the surface of the earth. It is an layer or the first layer of the earth that is composed of which materials? Organic as well as inorganic materials. The soil is also known as an skin of the earth because the first layer of the earth is an soil. So that's why it is known as an skin of the earth. Soil is the natural medium for the plants to grow, survive, or any reservoir of the air, water, and nutrients which are essential for the plant growth. Here in soil, the all those air, minerals, or any nutrients are present which are essential or which are required for the plant growth. The portion of the earth beneath the soil means under the soil or after the soil is known as an bedrock. It does not contribute directly to the growth of the plant. By what is the bedrock? It is a portion of the earth which is beneath the soil. Beneath means downwards to the soil, which does not directly contribute to the growth of the plants. Now, what is introduction to the pedogenesis? Here we will discuss the introduction for the pedogenesis. Now, what does the word means pedogenesis? Pedogenesis came from the Greek word pedo or pedon, which is known as an soil, and genesis means the origin, synthesis, or the birth. Here, so it is known as an soil formation. So, in the term of the pedogenesis, meaning of the pedogenesis is an soil formation, soil development, or soil evolution. The study of the soil in its natural environment. What is this study of the soil known as an pedology? What will we call the study of the soil? Here, the study of the soil is known as an pedology. The other branch of pedology is studied under the soil morphology and soil classification. What does the branches come under the pedology? Pedology consists of soil morphology, study of soil morphology, and soil classification. In other words, the pedogenesis is the process by which soil is been created or been formed. Here, now this is an introduction part to the pedogenesis. Now we will discuss about the how the soil formation takes place. Here, the first of all, the soil formation is slow, gradual, and continuous process. It is a slow process, gradual process, and continuous process. This process not and discontinue. It will continue to the thousands and hundreds of the years. The soil developed from the parent material. Here, this parent material, which is an rocks. Rocks are the parent material through which the soil has been formed by the various weathering process. Weathering means here the formation of the soils by creating rocks will be disintegrated into the small pieces or break the rocks will break into the small pieces and the soil will be created. This is known as an weathering process and by the climatic factors. Now, what is weathering? Weathering and the climate are the mainly two factors which regulate the soil formation. Here, what is weathering? Weathering is a breakdown of the rocks and other minerals. While what is climate? Climate means the usual condition of the temperature, humidity, osmotic pressure, wind and rainfall. That is known as an climate. Climate means Vatavaran. Rocks. Here the rocks are the parent material through which the soil has been created. The rocks are exposed to the sun, wind and rain. Here the rocks are exposed to the sun, wind and the rain. The fluctuation in the temperature will cause, here if the fluctuation means if the temperature rises, it will cause the cracks on the surface of the rocks. Here the if the temperature will increase, the cracks will be formed on the surface of the rocks. As the cracks will form and it will break into the small pieces. By the action of the rainwater, the minerals are released in the rocks. What is the role of this rain in the formation of the rocks? The rainwater will release the minerals in the rocks. By the rainfall, the minerals are being released in the rocks. Now, what is the role of the wind? Wind will bring the particles of organic matter. Now, the wind will bring the particles of the organic matter and mixed it into the released minerals, and it will lead to the formation of the nutrients and later lichens establish on the rocks. Here the wind will bring the organic matter and it will be mixed into the released minerals which will be bringed by or which will is released by the rainwater, and ultimate it will leads to the formation of the nutrients. Here the nutrients will be formed and lichens will be formed or established on the rocks. Here the lichens, what are the lichens? It is an symbiotic organisms. Symbiotic of which two organisms? First one is fungi and another one is an algae that will form an lichens. These rocks gradually disintegrate and result in the breakdown into the smaller pieces of rocks. Here the rocks will be disintegrate means it will cause and cracks and result into the breakdown of the smaller pieces of rocks. Now these smaller pieces of rocks will converted into the small particles by the weathering process. Depending on the nature, the parent material process takes place in the nature involving hundreds and thousands of the years. The weathering of rocks will continuous phenomena. It is a continuous phenomena and will serve to more and more soil to the surface of the earth. The weathering is the process which will be continuous and will add more and more soil to the surface of the earth. Here there are different types of parent material of the rocks. The rocks are also of different types. First one says an example, the granite. Granite is a rock which is slow to the weathering process, which is slow and it will take more time for the formation of the soil, while the limestone and the sandstone are the fast to the weathering process. So the soil fertility, whether the soil is fertile or not, here the fertility, which means it is suitable for the plant growth or the crop growth or not. Here the fertility is also based on the nature and the chemical composition of the parent material. Here the soil fertility depends on whom? The soil fertility is based on the nature and the chemical composition of parent material, which is an rocks. Parent material is an rocks, which will be fertility will depend on the or based on the nature and the chemical composition of rocks. Here, for example, soil derived from granite and sandstone are not fertile. Here, the soil which has been derived from the granite or the sandstones are not fertile, while the soil derived from the limestone are the fertile. Fertile means which are suitable for the growth of the plants or any other crops. This is all for the pedogenesis. The pedogenesis word means the pedon means the soil and genesis means the formation. So here we have studied about the pedogenesis or the soil formation.